Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aloha Press Podcast and YouTube show. My name is JC. I'm going to be your host tonight. We are recapping a lot of things in the golfing world. First, we're going to touch on what we talked about last week. Phil Mickelson. We're going to talk about Tiger Woods, Chris Rock, Will Smith, and Scotty Scheffler. I mean, as crazy as things are going in the world these days, it just got even weirder, and there's rumors and talk that we're going to go ahead and hit on. But before we start, we have to initiate.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Now, I want to make sure you hear that right, because we might offend a few people out there in the world. Today, I was asked, hey, I heard you have a golf podcast. And I said, I don't know if you should listen to it, because it's a bit R-rated. It's a bit, out of fucking crazy talk. It's just a guy in his brand new office, which I apologize for the acoustics. I set myself at a very high standard, and unfortunately, we are not at that very moment of the quality that I want of a top 5 podcast in the world. You would think that I would know better, but it is what it is. So let's get into the WGC match play event. Scotty Scheffler not only moves into the #1 spot in the world, but also takes down a guy who has played in this particular event rather well. Kevin Kisner, the local bulldog here in the state of Georgia, is unfortunately just did not have the heat when it came down to Sunday in the final match of this particular event. And match play is match play. Match play is one of the most relatable things in golf. It's something that you and I play with our buddies, with our friends, with guys who we don't even know. We play this game, match play. And it just seems like this particular event is quite special. But it's also quite challenging. It is very challenging because all the excitement happens in the beginning of the week. Now, I'm not saying the final match wasn't thrilling. It wasn't absolutely rigiding, but you've got two guys who don't show a ton of emotion battling. And the history's not there. Scotty Scheffler, what is he, 25 years old? And Kevin Kisner's 38? I mean, what are we really talking about here? Okay, two great golfers, don't get me wrong, and now a #1 golfer in the world. But when you say that's the Sunday ticket, we would have much rather seen a guy like Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka battling on Sunday. We would have gotten some of that drama, some of that talk, some of that things that we need to get us fired up, because we're almost to major championship season. But with that being said, the WGC. Do you like it? Do you like it at Austin Country Club? I've been to Austin. I love Austin, Texas. I'm not sure about the golf course. I think it's a great track. I think it's awesome. I would love to play it. But I don't know if it's the best place for an actual match play setup. And a match play setup that's going to take 5 freaking days. These guys, no wonder they had to pay them a lot of money. Because this particular event, I mean, these guys played a ton of fucking golf. Like, if you said, hey, JC, you're going to go play 7 rounds of golf in 5 days, I would say yes. I would absolutely say yes. But I would need to train for it. Okay? Swinging a golf club and walking up and down those just hellacious hills, God, it would be tough. It would be a blessing also, though, because Scotty Scheffler walked away with a ton of cash, which is absolutely incredible. He gets his 3rd out of his 5th victory he gets his 3rd victory out of the last 5 starts he's had, which, rightfully so, we missed an entire season where this guy was not playing on the PGA Tour. He was not on the PGA Tour because he was on the Korn Ferry Tour, which is just absolutely crazy and bonkers. And we now see what everyone else was seeing behind the curtain when it came to Scotty Scheffler. Now, the guy definitely has what it takes to get it done at this level. I mean, the guy is frisky. I mean, he's got fancy feet. He can hit the ball a long ways. Seems like his putter is fucking rock solid. But you just wish we knew a little bit more about him. I mean, it is an emotional victory, which I'm excited for him. I'm excited for his chance to go and battle. It looks like he's going to be able to defend his world ranking, #1 spot at the Masters, which is going to be incredible. We're going to see what that pressure looks like when we come down to that first major championship. So congratulations, Scotty Scheffler. I'm a big fan I was rooting against you because I'm naturally going to go for the guy who's probably a little bit more relatable in my generation. As I get older, you think that you're the youngster, and then you look at Scotty Scheffler, he's number one golfer in the world, and he's 25 years old. And you're like, fuck. I was 10 and you were crawling. You were 1 year old. Like, holy shit. Like, I'm more relatable with Kevin Kisner slamming Coors Lights and fucking having a great time on the golf course. But unfortunately, he didn't get done. Now, is this a great testament? Is this a great avenue? Is this a great sample for the President's Cup or the Ryder Cup? I don't know. It just seems like this particular golf course for Kevin Kisner, it's rather short. It just seems like one of those places where he's going to play particularly well every single time. He's just in love with the damn place. Do I think it's going to be a great testament and a great evaluation for the Ryder Cup? I don't know. I would love to have Kevin Kisner on that team. He's just a solid dude. Plus, he's entertaining. Plus, you know, we like to be a little bit relatable with the older guys on the tour, you know? Shit. Now we're talking about old guys at 38 years old, which is absolutely ridiculous. But with that being said, we've got more exciting news on the horizon. This broke earlier today in regards to Tiger Woods. Now, Tiger Woods was seen walking and playing down in Florida at the Medalist with his caddy. His caddy, Joe LaCava, was actually walking with him. Now, there's a short, shitty film out there on Instagram seeing this. It looks like Tiger Woods wearing a purple shirt, which I'm not a huge fan of. We'll get into the fashion statements later, but you got to think. He's walking, he's playing a challenging golf course, and he's playing with his caddy. And in the short film, of course, I didn't see any clubs, I didn't see any bags, but I don't think Joey was playing golf. It looks to me like a business opportunity. It looks like he is preparing for the Masters in a couple weeks. And that's incredible. That's incredible. From what he's gone through, from what has happened in the last year, to go from we don't know if this guy's going to live to all of a sudden playing the first major championship of the year. I'm not saying he's going to play. He generally makes the announcements Wednesdays before the tournament. We'll see. This episode's coming out on Tuesday. We'll see if we got some big news. Now, when you go to the Masters website, as past champions playing in this event, he's one of the 92 players that are going to be playing in the Masters. Now, Phil Mickelson's not going to be playing. He is unfortunately withdrawn. But if you would have told me 2 years ago that Tiger Woods would be in a horrific car accident, that we thought he would never possibly walk again, let alone live, and is going to be playing a major championship less than a year later. I guess it's not less than a year later. It's a little over a year. Excuse me. Sorry. You got to think, as a betting man, I would have said Phil Mickelson's absolutely playing. There's no way Phil Mickelson will miss a major championship. Unless his daughter, or unless one of his family members has some special event, which he's missed out on the U.S. Open before, he would not miss the Masters. And sure enough, Phil Mickelson's out. Tiger Woods is still slotted. For that opportunity. Now, a couple other guys who we want to touch on and congratulate in regards to there's 5 more players who punched their ticket this last weekend for the Masters. One particular guy who I am a big fan of, Harold Varner III. I'm excited to see him out at this particular golf course. I think he's going to excel. I think he's going to do well in that Georgia heat, and I think he's going to make a run, which is kind of crazy. Another guy who's going to punch their ticket to the Masters, Thomas Peters, Seamus Power, Russell Henley, and Cameron Young. Unfortunately, one guy who I thought was a little disappointing, Richard Bland. Richard Bland, good God. The guy who had the opportunity to win a major championship last year, but unfortunately folded under the pressure. He is ranked number 53rd in the world, and unfortunately, if he does not get a victory this week at the Valerio Texas Open, he will not be making the trip to Augusta. Big fan of Richard Bland, though. I like the guy. I like his style. I like his sponsor. I think he's sponsored by like a golf course, which is pretty incredible when you look at all things said and done. Now, getting back to my notes, let's hit on a couple other things. As the excitement of Tiger Woods, Scotty Scheffler, Phil Mickelson, all of these things going on in the world, Will Smith slaps Chris Rock after Chris Rock made fun of Will Smith's wife. I'm not going to touch on this too much, but is it golf related? You talk some shit, you might get slapped. You make a joke, you might get hit. It just was crazy. It blew up the world. It blew up the golfing world. I don't know why. I'm doing research for this podcast, and I can't get anywhere away from this story. Will Smith slaps Chris Rock and then talks some shit to him. And then he wins an Oscar. Now, if you want my full take, please go over to the Action Takers podcast, where Nate and myself host a business style podcast and we touch on some life things. We're going to give you a full reaction. And again, that's the Action Takers podcast. As you're listening to this, and if you can't get enough of me, you might get a little bit more of me over there. Now, big news, big news. Kevin Na. Kevin Na has signed a sponsorship with the Saudis. The same Saudis, Saudi Arabians, the Saudis who are actually putting on the competitive league led by Greg Norman, the big slinky shark. And you got to look back and you got to think, is Kevin Na going to be playing in this particular league? I haven't seen him lately. I haven't seen Bryson DeChambeau either. Are we going to see a few guys make the transition? And we'll see. It's going to be exciting. It's one of those things that we're going to keep we're going to keep our eyes open to it. A couple things that we look forward to this week. The LPGA Tour is going to be hosting their first major championship down in LA or in the LA area. It's going to be a pretty incredible event, which I look forward to. But other than that, I think that's all we got this week. It's one of those things, short and sweet episode. Hopefully you will have a great week. We will be back. We're going to be making our predictions for the Valero Texas Open here shortly in a day or so. So tune in for that. And as always, do me a favor, pay the dues, share the podcast. That's all you got to do. Share the podcast and leave a comment or review. If you can go into Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Amazon Play, wherever you're listening to this, Pandora, Spotify, wherever you're listening to this, do me a favor right now. Right now, take out your phone, take out your computer, dial up the internet, get your desktop, from 1997, and leave us a review. Please leave us a review. We're currently at a top 5% podcast in the world, and we would like to get to that number one spot, that 1%. But the only way we're going to be able to do that is with your help. And I greatly appreciate everyone that's been listening, all the new listeners. I know this episode is a bit short, but as all things considered, we're going to have a couple surprises for you here in the next week or so on the actual podcast. We might be having some live guests, live co-hosts. You never freaking know. So with that being said, as always, hit bombs, attack pins, and aloha press. Cheers.
Wearing all black.
Aloha! Here with JC and Jeff.
We ain't no time for school today.
Hitting bombs.
Hey, watch this punch cut lob wedge. Replace your Marshalls with cart girls. They're better looking. They're serving drinks.
Got to hit bombs off the tee.
Phil talking about a guy taking a shit in the cut.
Mahalo!
That's what we did fireside with Phil.
Fire the stick.
Hit bomb and attack the pin.